Tez Walker, UNC. Tez Walker, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's 22 years old. So he's an interesting one. And it's funny because literally like the day after I finished this list, and by the way, this is every receiver, ranked, details about them, stats, everything. Like I spent a lot of time on that. And if you don't believe me, ask Josh, because I sent it to Josh as kind of a draft tool for everybody, right? Because if I'm going to take the time to make it, I want to share it because it's good to have all this information. But it's funny, I came out, I finished this list, I got everything done, and the very next day, I see Steve Smith Sr. Talking about it. And he came out with his own wide receiver list. And it's funny because, and I'm not saying this to credit myself, but it's cool that my line of thinking, he kind of went along with the same thing. And with Tez Walker out of UNC, he kind of thought the same way I did. And we're going to get into it. So before we do, 2022, this is his stats. 58 receptions, 921 yards. 11 touchdowns, 15.9 average. 2023, 41 receptions, 699 yards, 7 touchdowns, 17.0 average. So, the pros. He's got elite acceleration, right? This is a guy where if the ball is in the air, he can speed up on a dime to go get it, right? That's good. That's great. He's great at it. He's elite at it. He adjusts to the ball good in the air. I like what I see there. He's good yak. He's a good yak guy, right? You get the ball in his hands, he can do something with it. So those are the pros. Now the cons. He's an inconsistent route runner, struggles at the line of scrimmage. So the reason why I bring up Steve Smith is because I had a weird feeling with Tez Walker. And some people had him as high as like an early second, bottom of the first, possibly. But for me, the thing that I found watching, and looking at the film of all these guys, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This class is special. This class is unique. This class is deep at wide receiver this year in the draft. And for me, Tez Walker, one of the things that Steve Smith said, and again, I'm not the biggest Steve Smith fan, to be honest with you, but again, great receiver in the NFL. I'm going to respect his opinion. I certainly didn't play receiver in the NFL, so I'm going to take his word over mine. But one of the things that he said that I kind of saw myself, he said that Tez Walker is somebody who almost should have came back another year at UNC, right? And you can talk about Drake May coming out, right? So maybe he should have transferred. Maybe that's a better argument. But some of his issues he's going to have to work with. And Steve Smith saw him more as a third-round pick. And I see him as a late second, maybe early third-round pick. I think just with as deep as the wide receiver room is, or the wide receivers are in this draft, I think he could get pushed down a little bit. Now, I certainly could be wrong, but for me, I think Tez Walker, and I really don't know if I want to make this comparison because they're two guys in the same draft, but they're similar for me. They're similar for me in the sense that both of these guys, I have some questions about them. And for me, those guys are A.D. Mitchell out of Texas, who is going to be a first-round pick, if not early second-round pick, which I think he should be. And the reason why I don't have him on my list, spoiler, is because I think he's out of reach. And I think he should be. I think everything that Tez Walker does at a high level, I think that A.D. Mitchell does just better, right? So that's the difference between the two. But they both have their issues. I think they're both inconsistent route runners, struggle at the line of scrimmage, right? And for me, with Tez Walker, I found like his highlights are good, right? They're good. But he's inconsistent. And I think he's somebody that I think needs some work. He needs some work. Now, the reason why I have him 5 on my list is because I think the upside with him is really good. And I think he fits what the Browns are looking for, right? This is somebody who could come in and give you a lot as far as over the middle with the yak. Again, elite acceleration. He's fast. Adjusts to the ball well. Has solid hands. I like that a lot. His contested catch, good. Like it. I like a lot of Tez Walker. I would not be upset at all if he was the pick for the Browns. But I think personally for me, there are a lot more things that he has to work on coming into the NFL than some other people think. So, again, not that he's bad. I think a lot of these things are nitpicking, right? Again, I've said it. I'll say it again. I think a lot of these receivers are going to be really, really good. I really do. And when it comes to guys who fit the Browns, I think Tez Walker would fit what the Browns are looking for, and especially more so like a deep threat. A lot of things that I really liked that I saw for him were deep down the field when he would adjust to the ball and, kind of get used in that way. And I think that's what we need, and I like it. And he's big. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. So I like him a lot. I think he would be a good pick, but for me, Tez Walker is somebody, especially if the Browns maybe wanted to trade back. If the Browns wanted to trade back, they get to 54, maybe somebody they liked more is gone, and they didn't want to trade up. Or, if they wanted to take somebody else, and then trade up later, right? I think that's kind of the situation. If Tez Walker were to end up Cleveland Brown, that's how I see it happening, and I'd be happy. Again, I like him a lot. I just think compared to these other guys in my top 4 now, I think he has the most issues to work through, if that makes sense. So Tez Walker is my number 5 on the list for wide receivers with the Browns in the NFL draft.